All right, we are live. About 5 minutes.
Some paychecks and they get a lot of these. Taking it off. Well, each fee is not normal. They're all. Charge. So if you do anything.
I suppose that's as good an argument. That's okay. Oh, yeah.
Operating systems, upgrades,
Great.
It's a good money grab.
So we're gonna do this one construction.
Oh, thanks, Gina.
Here I am.
I was hoping you would go now. Yeah.
How's Mike?
Doing well, how are you?
Oh, just great. Parking lot's full out there.
Busy day, government center.
Yeah, must be.
She goes over now.
Looks like maybe you got something going over the courthouse.
Yeah, we got the sheriff send us an email.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I usually don't check it after I've been on it during the day, but I did last night.
Not that it made any difference. I just parked out by the historical building.
Well, yeah. I think so.
Yeah, I don't mind walk. I don't want to do it during.
Yeah, right now I'm staying with any of our states.
Yeah, I see a bunch of suits headed that way to the courtroom, so I figured we must be something going on in there. Usually it's an indication when the parking lot's full.
Yeah, but there's because there's no. Nobody asked me if they were going to show it to our bottle on Monday, so sometime today or tomorrow. They did, yeah.
Which is fine, that's fine. Right. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
We're on, right?
July.
Because that number Laura gave us yesterday was quite alarming. I realize our percentages can be skewed easily, but that was quite alarming.
Yep.
Now,
There's still a number that aren't being tested.
Right.
That know they have it and just refuse to do that part of it.
Right.
or say, why bother?
Well, right, because they're thinking if we self-quarantine and stay away from everybody, then we don't have
Right, and
Big Brother on us, right?
and I'm okay with that if they're doing the responsible thing.
Right.
That's a high number.
Is it because of the amount of hospital workers, school teachers, and state employees working in the jail that are mandatory to get vaccinated? Is that, or not vaccinated, but it's, or testing? Is this why that number is coming up so high?
I don't think so. I think.
I'm just trying to think of ways.
Well, this hospital's not taking anyone, and then we got a thing at Springville, they were delayed.
Yeah.
They're on delay, yeah.
I think they're just
It's
overwhelmed.
region-wide,
It is,
and
it is.
it's alarming because it,
It's like Dr. House, it's you know, and then there's someplace else that's straight on.
Right,
And the rest of
like, it just
them,
feels like the collapse of the whole healthcare
Yes.
system.
yes.
Like the beginning of.
this is it, I'm telling you.
And there are many factors in it, but the biggest one that we could control,
Lack of healthcare workers.
well, that, but also, yes, I fully believe that more people had been vaccinated.
Was I say, what did Ellen say? I didn't hear what she said.
I mean, I grew up, just, we got vaccinated when there was.
Yeah.
This months ago. I remember polio, things that curfew.
Yep,
Yeah, I remember being in school as a big burly athlete, standing there in the nurse's office keeling over. Shot.
Yeah, remember, you having to go get that shot in school, line up.
Yeah.
Here we go.
You know, there are people that we all know that are pro-vaccination and very vocal about it. And there are some that are just as vocal about being non-vaxxers, right?
Yeah.
And I honestly don't have a really strong feeling one way or the other, but I wouldn't have vaccinated because
I just.
I think it was an idea, you know? And why put yourself through the heartache of trying to,
Because I can get a mammogram and get a vaccination.
right?
You get your own issues.
yes.
That's an annual or even.
Yeah.
I tell everybody when we take them in, because we're supposed to ask them if they've been vaccinated, you know, in the ambulance. And I can still remember taking this one female in that is sicker than a dog. She came back negative, but I asked her, did you have your vaccination? She goes, no, I haven't had time. I'm thinking, well, I guess you might have time now. She says, but I think I'm going to get it as soon as I get done with it. It's like, I'm thinking to myself, that's an excuse.
We do, yep.
Okay, I'd like to call a public works meeting in order, and I'm trying to shrink towards the south. Devin's here. And of course, top of December, big eight will change, it'll be the normal Thursday after the last Wednesday. Okay, now we can start right off with the November work date. I think Joe printed them off, so we've got one.
Devin Russell.
Yep. Devin, right?
First things first, Bennington 6 bridge project. That actually looks like a bridge now. They put up the side trusses and they started putting in the floor panels. So it's actually coming together. You can see some progress going on. So I think what I just found out, we have an issue with missing parts that were ordered really late on in the process. So now we gotta wait for those to come in, but at least there's progress.
So it's still working for us, overseeing.
Yeah,
Works for that project. Okay.
yeah, he's there every day. Yeah, so he's definitely boots on the ground over there. Steel for Pike Fair Bridge should be painted this week and hopefully delivered next week is the plan. That's what I heard, so. County Route 31 Exchange Street project. The village was looking to secure some funding to replace the water lines and the utilities under that road. And they were unable to do so. So, I think we're gonna try to go into construction next year and get the job done. And hopefully, the water lines don't fail the year after that.
So, they worked on that. I've seen 2 times in the last 2 years, just put paving on. It's gonna happen.
Is that water line goes to prison?
I believe so. They go right there, I believe so. And
Don't you have any influence there?
I can say something now. I just found out. So it's.
Well, we had the same issue over here at Liberty Street.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No,
Mhm.
it's just poor planning on their part.
I know it's expensive, but it's gotta be done,
Right. Exactly.
and it's poor to pave the road and then dig it up to put in sewer or drainage or whatever.
There is no. They worry about tomorrow, they don't worry about next year.
Mhm.
They don't plan.
It's gonna be those village residents that are also paying county tax dollars that are gonna see,
Yes,
yeah. that they have to-
So I'll tell you, so. What they first told me was, they're gonna try to secure funding, so please hold off. So I pushed the project money to 24 because there was no funding available in 23, so I had to move to 24. And I just had requested to move it back into 22, because they said no time soon they were gonna be able to do the project. So,
Rather than
also-
sit there and have prices go up, project done, but.
God, we must have some of that ARPA money. Those very got $300,000.
To build the dog park.
Dog park.
That's a big topic. Right now. To build the dog park.
we're live.
Yeah,
Just, I'm seeing tax. That's what's going on down there.
they
They
gotta,
haven't, this dog park, they haven't said one word to me about this. Which they don't have, I mean, I got nothing to say about it.
they got a quote for engineering services from Clark Patterson Lee, who we're using, and they also, I think they use Nussbaumer a lot as their village engineers. I don't know what the quote was that they got from Nussbaumer, but I know they got a quote from CPL. And quite honestly, it'd be a lot easier to use the same engineering firm to do the work, because we have to tie it in anyways.
Right, so you gotta work together then. Which is awesome.
I mean, there's no way around it. It's going to be expensive. But does it need to be done? And you have money,
The longer you wait, the more expensive it gets.
and you have money that you weren't necessarily counting on with the ARPA fund.
use some of that.
I would be having a conversation with Mayor, but I don't see it going further.
Great opportunity.
Mhm.
Because those water lines are gonna break as soon as we do that road.
Mhm. You can only do what you can do.
All right. So we have dispatch starting 12/4, so, but all your highway superintendents know that, but just so you're aware, we're starting Saturday. So a couple of highlights off this list. We have snow equipment now is distributed to all the parking lots throughout the county.
Hey, Devin, just so you know, I asked IT yesterday to update your voice messages on your
Am I
phone.
still Todd?
You are, and you wanna know something? Katie is still.
Really?
I'm like, we'll put in a request to have that changed.
I had asked quite a few times to get my name changed, just on the phone, the name changed from Todd to Devin.
So between the two of us, we'll keep that here. I know they're super busy, but that's a little weird.
Yeah. East side bridge inspections have been completed. I know Tim is putting together a report right now, so we'll be able to go over that. And that includes the larger culverts. Then the other highlight that I have is, all our snow fences installed. We have it installed also in a couple test locations. You know, if it helps, and we'll continue to leave it up in the coming years, so. The other note that I have here, we have snow agreements that have not been returned. And I think you have one still. And then it's town of Middlebury, but they're gonna mail theirs, and then town of Pike, which I believe theirs is taken for now, so.
Both around the front. Like in Middlebury, just so. hopefully they're done.
I just mailed it out yesterday.
Thank you.
Yeah, with a check in the mail thing.
Mine's not in there yet.
Mine already dropped off.
The other thing too is I've been working on a new snow contract. You know, I kind of, so Wayne County, they contract their plowing out to the towns. Then I got with the state DOT, kind of see what they do. So I kind of put together a hybrid approach, what I thought would be best. So once I get that together, I'll share it with everybody. Be very fun.
Any more questions? Well, looks like you're keeping them busy up there, Devin. Coming from a lot of stuff here.
Yeah. The other thing that I know came up this morning too, need to try to figure out a plan to get some of my guys cross-trained to plow. I know Orangeville has a guy out, and they were, asking if we were gonna lay it, I said no. But I think they were looking for someone full-time that they can handle, throughout the winter. But, if you have anybody that's out for a day, or you need someone to fill in for a week, whatever, let them know. But we need to work on getting guys cross-trained in those trucks, so trying to figure out the best way to do that. I think it's just gonna have to be a day that, go one of your superintendents and ask if we can put our guy in one of the trucks. There's no way around it, probably the simplest way to do it. Okay.
That's about ARPA funding for Western County Highway.
Yep, so, department head meeting, Janice had mentioned ARPA money, so it kind of piqued my attention, I wanted to try to get in on it. Certainly, the most important thing that we have, that we use a lot, and I know we mow for all the towns, is that boom mower we have. In 2010, it was purchased, I think, for $112,000. And up to now, we've put in about $65,000 worth of parts and various repairs and such. So, we put in a lot of money to keep that machine running, but I think it's getting towards the end of its useful life. So I think we need to sort of try to replace it if we can.
Is that machine, because it's 11 years old, or is it a maintenance machine to begin with?
I think both. I think when it was first, when they first got it, it was used a lot, and the roads weren't mowed as much as they are now. So I think it just took a beating in the first couple of years. And then now it's 11 years old, and that's just what happens. But I think if we got a new one, it wouldn't be beaten up as badly, because all the roads are pretty good now, so.
Kind of done the initial round.
Devin, is that multi-use? Do you guys use those for plowing as well? Not that tractor. No, but we certainly, we mow our right of ways, town right of ways, and whatever else we need to do with it, so. It definitely gets used quite a bit.
Now, the previous one, that was on a shared service, and the towns shared the cost of the repair.
going forward, that what we do with this one.
I hope so. I mean, if everybody's agreeable to it, I think it worked pretty well for the most part, as far as repairs go.
So should we expect some kind of an invoice for the end of the year or this year? Machine?
I don't think so. Hopefully not. Hopefully we won't have to repair.
Okay.
So, but I don't know. I would say end of the year, I would say probably not. If you haven't gotten already, probably won't. The next one is the Leroy force feed loader. So this is our AD machine that we use for shoulders and such. It just, what it is, it just scoops up material instead of having to get out of your truck and shovel it into, handling it twice. This is just a machine that scoops it up and loads it into a back of a 10-wheeler. This is used quite well. So we use it quite a bit. I know we go out to the towns with an operator. I think it would be used more, but there's a fear of it breaking down. So we don't use it as much as we would like to. It can be used for shoulder material, it can also be used for snow, soil, whatever we want to use it for. Last one is a wood chipper. Our wood chipper is on its last legs. I think probably next year, if we don't buy one, we're probably gonna have to rent one because it's that bad. I think we might be able to get a couple uses out of it, but I know they were out shipping not too long ago and I broke down and they had to bring it back. So that's another one that's on its last legs.
You try to use that like this time of year with,
Yeah, they're out today using it. After I got some repairs made to it.
yeah, in certain areas, sometimes I think you can lower it back into the woods or whatever. In an area you can't, you just chip it up, take it someplace.
Most times they're chipping right on the road to push it back for site reasons, so. I would say that, so when I put these in, when I submitted this request, I put an order of what my preference would be, but, I'll be happy with any of it, so.
So this is Janice. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure, and I don't think we really confirmed how we were going to handle these requests. So I asked Devin to put this together and present it to you folks. I'm not sure how, because I know prior we met all together as a whole. I don't know if this is one of those things where we're going to recommend something to finance committee and then finance committee is going to make those decisions. I'm not sure what the process is going forward, but I don't think his will be the last request. So I just checking, I just throwing that out there to you guys that we don't really have a clear process, or if we're going to handle these one-offs through the committee cycle and with the finance approval.
Okay, so we'll just have to see where we land, I guess. Let them decide where our priorities are.
Well, Janice, we're gonna be giving you the request, correct?
Yeah, I mean, he gave this request to me prior, and I actually threw it on that request list. But we didn't have it when we all met and talked about it, is what I'm saying.
I think we should get the list together from everybody and sit down and discuss as a group on what we think our priorities are.
Like committee of the whole, perhaps?
That wouldn't be a bad one, or finance, either way. Be the whole, that'll be everybody. I'm fine with that.
Should we, I don't know that it comes out of this committee, but should we do a time frame so that we're not dragging this out forever and getting them in piecemeal? Some of these things, and from some of the other departments as well, maybe things that they want replaced sooner rather than later.
Right.
I think the sheriff's got to pick the best way to do it.
But didn't we last month approve to spend some ARPA money for vehicles for the sheriff?
Yes. We did, and it was like 6 cars or something.
Yeah. So like I said, I don't know where it comes from. I don't know what committee, I don't know who has control over that, but I don't think we want to deal with these all year.
Right.
Depending on how quickly we spend the money,
That'll solve the problem.
right? So, but I think if they present them and we collect them and then when we, when we have more, then it should be present more to see where it falls into the grand plan.
Yeah, one of my concerns is doing it all quickly is that we don't, I mean, some of the stuff that Devin was talking about, we can live along and put it in order, but, you might not need the chip, you can rent it for 1 year until you see a picture, but I'm only concerned that this money's good for 3 years. And there might be a bigger, because we can always, we take the bands out and we can always borrow, we have that system. I'm not saying that that's what we should do. If that's how we want to spend the money, we can. But I think there might have to be like maybe a quarter and see what happens, because now people know the money's here. We still don't know what the union negotiations are gonna net out. We don't know how that's all gonna play into it. So we really don't know how much money we have left on allocated.
So we should be collecting the wish lists and tabulating the wish list, but maybe not so eager to spend the money on what's on the wish list, but just know that.
So there just needs to be, like you said, how people are kind of dangling out there, not knowing what's been approved, what's been approved, and what's not been approved, which is okay.
I mean, did we, when we met before as a group, I don't think we talked about new cars for the sheriff's department, did we?
Yeah.
And
But
that
they came in and talked about it,
last month,
right? Yeah. I didn't just make that
it
up.
was either 6 or 8 cars. It was
Yeah, and you
a
guys,
significant number.
and you guys approved it.
Yes, it was
So
approved.
I put it on my list and I said, okay, that means approved. So I just want to make sure that, because I just feel like there's gonna be a lot more.
Mhm. Yep,
And how we're gonna handle it.
right.
Well, just like, I'm gonna compare it to the compensation committee. We'll get everybody's wish list in. So it's not a first come, first serve, the sheriff, beat everybody out. And that is, but, let's not be thinking of one at a time like this. Let's put it all together in a pool and make the decision as a group, wholly, and not go first come, first serve, and give a time frame, of a month or 2 or whatever, get your wish list together and, give us some time to look at it and. make a decision.
And one of the things I was wondering, because the boom tractor was purchased for the grant, shared service grant, we always kind of want to say, okay, that was before, can we get that again? So we can't get the shared
The grant
service.
doesn't exist anymore, I looked into it.
Okay. But we want to make sure we explore other ways of getting this equipment prior to that, so.
You know what?
I know there's no other way to get police cars, we're just,
Right.
can't get a grant.
Right.
Cars, but with that stuff, sometimes you can. If you can't, you can't, that's due diligence, so.
You know what, and I realize that there's gonna be other uses for the money, but, if you don't ask for it, you're not gonna.
No,
get it.
right, and I asked him to do this, I asked him to bring it to you guys, so.
Well, we prioritize the needs and then take care of the wants.
Right,
So
exactly.
this has been added to my list, I put it on that list that I've been keeping track of. And until it's approved, I'll mark it approved if once you guys approve it, but I guess I don't know where, because of the way we handled the last one, I wasn't sure how we're going to handle the future ones. So should we meet every quarter? But what if there's an urgent, whatever, it's.
I was just saying to Jim, because you might get your list together and then one will quickly percolate to the top because it's
Something blows up in meetings or replace it.
But let's get that list of the others. And it's, as I said, so you're talking, there might be some grant money. We might look at this and say, it's good, we're in money I have, and I just borrow the money, and versus, well, it doesn't matter.
No, but my concern is, and I didn't, I don't know, I think I heard this yesterday, I was trying to get some other things done. But did I hear that there's absolutely no funding for the training center? Did I hear that? So that concerns me, because that'll eat up every bit of the rest of the money we have left. And that's something that has to be done. I don't know if you guys took a trip up there. Yep, they did, okay. I don't know what, and I heard you guys were talking a little bit about what's going on. That was one of the things that was on there. And I don't know, that's something that needs to be done. It's our backup 911 center. So, maybe we need to talk. I mean, I think I heard Becky too say, well, we'll keep trying, which would be great, but at some point, maybe something needs to be done based on.
And space allocation list and our reports are for next month. So
Okay.
maybe after the new year, we can sit and discuss the building needs as well.
Perfect.
Because that could eat up all of that funding, you know what I mean, just like you said, it's endless, no matter what. You guys prioritize, but in Devin's case, that equipment's gotta be purchased, no matter what. He can't wait 2 years or 3 years to make decisions about equipment that he needs now. It's the same with building stuff, so.
These pretty solid prices you got here,
Yeah, these are prices that quotes that we got, and they're all stated numbers.
Okay, well, appreciate you bringing that forward, let us know what you need. We'll see if we can do it going forward, I guess.
All right.
Can't answer today.
Yeah, that's fine.
Big T and number. Okay, we move on to number 3, professional service contract with Tractor Software. What's that for?
PubWorks, it's our PubWorks software, it's how we track vehicle usage.
Motion. Motion by Supervisor Grant. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Number 4 is another professional service contract with Eastwood Tree Service for tree removal, $142.50 per hour. Not to exceed $16. It's something we use all year. It's needed.
Yeah, it's mainly used up through the winter months, but we have any left over, we can hold on to it and use it.
So when they come in and they take out the tree for us, do you use our chipper to clean up instead of fire ground to do it?
I don't know that yet.
You know, they take the tree down, yes,
I don't know, they may take the tree with it. I'm not sure how it works, it probably depends on the size of the tree.
if it's good fire, we leave it along the road a couple days. Well, we can ask.
Yeah.
Motion by Supervisor Roach. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Anything else, Devin?
That's it, I know we just had our bid opening for the deer removal, and that went up from $70-something per deer to $90 something, so
You had to get a different vendor for that, right?
same one.
Don't say one.
I think he's the only game in town, so kind of is what it is.
There's a job. There's a job.
It's not labor's work.
Okay,
So
anything else, Devin?
thank you.
Hey, Roach, you're up.
Morning, everybody.
Okay, the first thing on special service contract, mechanical, C service, repairs, as needed.
Yep, so we had a few heat pumps this year that either lines, rubbed lines, we had some coolant leaks or just general repairs on some of the equipment. So we just need to amend that contract. I believe it's up to not to exceed $4,000 for this year.
Motion by Supervisor Roach. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 2 is to amend resolutions. Contract with power systems. Increase the dollar amount for amount not to exceed $10,500. Amount not to exceed 15,500. This is
So we-
for the maintenance on the generators.
On all the generators, all of the building generators as well as the tower generators. And we've had multiple issues across the board.
Aye.
Many of the generators. So we just need to increase that, this way we can keep those things running and keep all the tower sites,
The address is not correct.
For which?
Well, yeah.
Turkey Power.
95, it's not, I say like 951 or something.
All right, I will get it.
I'm 914 of that.
you want the check to you then, or is it?
Sure.
Let's go there, 10,000.
That'd be great. So same thing, and next year we'll see an increase in these numbers, I know. We've got a generator project underway, actually we met with CAT this week for the campus generator. We've got the other 3 generator projects coming up and that approved for the ARPA funding. And then I know Tony over to 911 has worked on a project, he's got some more tower sites going up and generators with those, so the generators are actually becoming a very big end of our maintenance agreements. We don't do a lot, we maintain the fuel, our guys check them to make sure, check them periodically, make sure the lights haven't got in them, there's not nests and stuff like that in them, but any of the controls and stuff is all subbed out. It's, they're too complex really for what we're doing, even the small units, they're not a full start, own-in generator anymore. They're much bigger, much more complex, so.
And then a soft start once a week kind of thing.
Correct, yep, so they all test run once a week. Some of them transfer, some of them do not, but they at least all start. And then just making sure everything stays running. We did have an issue just last week during or was it 2 weeks ago, National Grid had an outage out towards Weathersfield Way. And power went out, the generator fired, the transfer switch would not transfer. It sat there clicking, we had to manually put it in place. And it was just a glitch. We had to keep power out. They test ran it 4 different times and it worked. But it's at those points that we need those.
Manual exercise once in a while.
I don't know. There's a big bus bar in there and 2 levers and something just wasn't syncing correctly. But by the time they come out, everything was running normal again. So we get charged a service call, of course.
I talked with Country Line last week, we talked about maybe installing a generator, sort of our ARPA money, and they said they get the generators, can't get the transfer switches.
Yeah. So since we're on the topic, meeting with CAT, 39 weeks. To get it from the day you place the order to the day you see the equipment, it's 39 weeks right now. That's just the units and the transfer switches. So a long time, it used to be 24 weeks, he said, around 24 weeks was the high end waiting for equipment. So when it all comes out of the States, everything's coming in, but you get one part on a ship and it's holding up the whole assembly line. But then trucking out of Georgia, God forbid the weather or whatever, I've said a couple times, we're looking to do that transfer of this generator in late September, October of 22. And hopefully we'll be able to do that during decent weather. I hate to do it, especially with that building there, I hate to do switch out of equipment in the wintertime, because you never know when somebody hit out a pole or, ice take a line down or whatever, and then public safety sits without backup. We just don't want to do it that way.
So there, motion, or the deal? Sure. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Appropriation, building supplies, sale of equipment. Additional supplies.
So,
Hot water tank, what's budgeted for?
yeah, the hot water tank was not in our budget for the courthouse last month. That sprung a leak. It was the original tank to the building, but $3,200 later, it does have a new 75-gallon hot water tank. Our guys switched it out. We bought the equipment. Luckily, there was one on the shelf that I had to move. Everywhere else we called, they were either going to send them in out of New Jersey, which is right off the boat, I'm sure, so they're waiting, or further. It was, having to truck it from Texas or California, and I just wasn't willing to take the chance. It was not the cheapest unit available, but it was the closest, and it was $300 more at the end of the day, but it was right there in Batavia. So we got that switched out, and then, but these funds are from that reoccurring surplus of items we see from other departments and from within our own department. Just the surplus stuff as we clean out corners of areas. So we sold some more equipment, just need to reallocate those funds so we can cover some of our expenses.
That, well, hot water tank was 20+ years old.
Yeah, whatever, it was 98 or 99 was the tag on the unit. So.
Okay, motion. Motion Supervisor Klein. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. You want to give us an update on the Rotunda project?
I wish I could give you a great update. The update is they're waiting on the block. Contractor's waiting on the block. The steel is set in place. Once the block's in, they can now then put the veneer block over that, and the aluminum guy can come and he can measure and cut all the aluminum for the enclosure itself, and then the glass can be ordered. So we're just waiting on that veneer block. They said it's less than 6 weeks out at least, and that was roughly 2 or 3 weeks ago.
So they can do that in January or?
They're gonna have to tent it. They'll have to tent that area to get some heat in to make sure it cures correctly. But it's a waiting game. It's just materialized.
So the ribbon cutting won't be like Memorial Day?
I'm not gonna put a date on it. Yeah.
That's right, Jim.
We'll try to speed that process along, but sometimes the littlest jobs take the longest as well. It's unreal. It really is.
I know you talked about you got a desk that came for that area, those kind of, but you just got this in storage, so.
It actually sits right out there. I meet with the state. Chris Burns from the state is going to come out with his glass guide because the court system would like to cover the glass enclosure around that workstation, so it'll save us some money. Because that glass is protecting the court deputies. They still have the temporary plexiglass in place that we put in a 1.5 years ago now at their current workstation, but the courts would like to see something permanent. So they're supposed to come out, I believe early next week was the date. So the desk is actually being stored right now within the rotunda. Because honestly, I have nowhere else to put it, that it'll be okay. Out of the weather and stuff like that. But
We talked yesterday in public health about the tree we can put down there. So I'm gonna tell you, by some of this, put it, can't put it over there.
I'd say this to the tax reducing for the
so that's usually purchased for mental health. They drop it off, we just stand it up for them and they decorate it. I think a smaller, like a 10-foot narrow tree, we can put in the corner instead of right in the center would be a little bit better idea for this year, just because there are going to be different things going on at that entrance. And then years to come, we'll have to adjust and maybe do an outdoor tree, something outside that, you know, we can go as big as we want, then, you know, do something like that.
I did send her a text, I figured that she knows about it, and I'll let her.
Yeah.
When we get her telling.
Yeah, Kelly's actually, she sent me an email yesterday, she's got some other building plots and stuff like that, and we gotta get a list proposed for Rotowski for some items they have going on down there. So I'll work with her, and they usually just call us though and say, hey, the tree's coming.
Send you the donate by somebody.
Don't, I was gonna say, yeah, hear that. And I think, you know, when they're picking it out, it's like, yeah, that'll fit in there. Then you get here and it's like, oh, I guess we should trim all the branches off. And the one year, we had to go out and buy an oversized base because the 10-inch hole in the, you know, tree base just wasn't big enough. The stump of that thing was, it's like 11 inches. And I'm like, this is getting kind of ridiculous. And so maybe we downsize it a little bit, and, you know, we'll make it work either way. I know Becky really likes the tree as well, so as long as Becky wants it, we'll make it happen.
Anything else for Mike?
I do have one walk-in today. I apologize. We had some work done between us and the sheriff's department last month, beginning of the month. The UPS for dispatch was switched out. The sheriff's department and Tony had grant funding, I believe is how they purchased that unit. They reached out to us to hire the electrical work to be done. So after 3 contractors, actually the local contractor, Jeff and Marcy, did the install for us, but I just need the approval for the contract to get him paid. So Jeff did some work at Arcade Tower, did the generator electrical transfer for us there. It was roughly $600 for the day. During that time, I asked him how much would he charge us to switch out the UPS. You know, we lend a hand. He just does all the you know, the nuts and bolts of it. We're just there for the muscle. He said it's the same. It would be roughly $600 for a day. Our other 2 quotes, one was through Kaplan Schmidt, I think, came in at $4,700 for the day, same work. And then Beardsley Electric wanted $9,200. So Jeff came out, he worked with us. He's done a lot of projects with us. He charges us $600 a day, and we just got getting paid the $1,160. And that was for both projects. So he took care of both of them for under $1,200. So I just need that approval so we can get him
So
paid.
this is actually 3,000 and less, so it's an FYI to the committee and.
Yep,
Ms.
I do
Wilson,
have
your
a lot
response. Okay.
Good.
I went down yesterday, visited social services.
God help you.
Well, it wasn't bad, it's a little bit, actually, that problem been there often had since they did renovations. And then,
So I don't know if it goes that far back. That's
that's
the way.
what Warren told me.
So maybe twice a year, when the weather really changes, when the winds pick up, something happens in the plumbing up there that they get this, it's a sewer gas smell throughout the one section of buildings. We've had walls open, we've had the chaseways, we've been inside them, we've taken plumbing apart, we've pulled toilets, we've pulled sinks, we've cleaned out traps. And for some reason, the 2 sinks still emit an odor through that end of the building. And everything has airflow. I have, in the spring, we thought we had the problem solved. People rinsing out dishes in the bathroom sink or in the drinking fountain. So the food particles were being stuck and there was sludge in the pipes. They would get a trap odor or whatever, and that's what we thought the smell was. After replacing one wall and all the plumbing in that half of a bathroom and the drinking fountain, it was 2 days worth of work. We replaced it all, put the wall back together. It went, I bet, 3 months without any hint of a smell. I said, finally, we got it. We threw drywall compound on and paint, and here we are a month and a half later and the smell's back. So I've got Lyco coming in, they're gonna camera the whole system for us on that end of the building. What's nice is during the renovation, it's all new. All the plans follow, Brian, you'll give you a kick out of this, it was Danforth that did the plumbing. But they all follow the plan. And each toilet, each sink, each trap, or each vent is all it's all directed to the main. Nothing ties into one another, which is nice, but it's only the sinks that are smelling. You pull a toilet and you expect to get sewer gas, that same smell, and it doesn't. So it's very, very strange. So we've got Lyco coming, they've been extremely busy. We had them over the DMV, we had more issues at the DMV this month. But Lyco will be there to camera underground because it could be something as a loose fitting and the odor is actually coming up from under the slab. If that's the case, then we have to readjust sails and find somebody to sleeve that pipe. Problem being, we wanted that guy to do the jail, never returned a call this year. We pulled his contract, we had a $12,000 contract. He never answered his phone again after giving us a price. I don't know anybody local, I don't know anybody that can re-sleeve or reline pipes in the area. So I'm open to suggestions on that, if anybody knows anybody. Other than that, we're gonna do our best. I ordered through Granger Supply yesterday, some smoke bombs. We're gonna drop these smoke bombs down the main 3-inch vent, plug the vent and see what happens, see where the smoke comes from. That's what steps we're at. And what's just strange, it'll be 2 or 3 days of stink and it'll be gone for months. So, but we're at the top of the hill, so all those sewer gases from Main Street are rushing right up that hill. There's a lot going on there.
I asked about masking in some way, and what he said, take that because people with allergies can't take some of that odor.
Right.
A little.
Right. Paint upsets some people up there. It's been a struggle painting up there. But we are working on it. There's 14 bathrooms in the place. 2 are out of order right now. Ken Tisdale's office is the closest to it. Ken's been more than thankful that we come in when we do and try. He understands. But honestly, there's nobody else's office in that area. So we just gotta take it one step at a time. Things.
You talked about opening the window, so it's either stand the smell or stand the cold.
Sure. And we can put an exhaust fan in a window, but then we open ourselves up to, well, now there's an open window in a secure building. Anybody can just climb through the window at that point. So it's very tricky. We're gonna see what Lyco comes up with and then see what the smoke test does. I hate to try to dig up or pick up a carpet and jackhammer up something that doesn't need to be done. I don't know where it's coming from. Multiple people, multiple eyes have been on it, and we're working on it. Kim is understanding, she understands up there that things like this take time, and it's the employees up there that are having the issues. They see us up there for a couple hours and then gone the rest of the day. They just think we don't care. Well, that's not the case. Our hands are moving. We've gone as far as we can until the next step can happen. So
I think she appreciated, like, when the girl talked yesterday, somebody came down there for the board, just know, we know something going on at work.
yeah, it was quite a funny phone call because they didn't know who was at the door. It was just somebody from Public Works. I said, well, tell them I left. But no, and they said they saw your badge and everything, or your ID card. And so I said, well, Jim will either smell it or he won't, because it could be there, and then an hour, it's all gone. The exhaust fans in the building are all working. Everything's working. So it's a very
I
strange.
didn't notice it when he did the tour.
Right.
I worked with his first time.
That's, and that's that's what he said, It's like,
You thought I said that.
I will. No, he's good about it. it because we had to tear open his wall. He sees what's going on. His office was in disarray for a while. When we're up there looking in the chaseway, it's from his office, to look into the wall. He sees it every day when we're up there. So we're doing the best we can for what we're working with.
You worked for community action before we joined the sheriff's department. Tell them that.
I know, I leave the tools there, thinking maybe he'll just take care of it, but we can't seem to track that down.
All right, well, good luck with that.
I also have the DMV has been an issue again. We've had Michael there twice recently with the camera. About 80 feet into the Dmv Side Restrooms, which are in the front corner of the building, there's 90 feet of pipe for anything to leave that building. There's not a lot of pitch to that pipe, so a couple flushes a day is just sitting in the pipe. But what we're gonna do to resolve that problem, we've taken the wipes out of the bathrooms. We've found a lot of paper towels prior. We took paper towels out of the bathrooms and we put the automatic hand dryers in there instead. So we're trying to work with that as well. The next thing we're doing, we're putting new toilets in there, power flushers, so it actually grinds up whatever paper or solids that are in the toilet better to send it down the pipe. And it sounds strange, but we pulled the toilet paper out of there and we're gonna start using camper and RV toilet paper because it disintegrates at a rapid pace compared to normal toilet paper. So that's where we are with that, but there's really no changing it. They only make 1.28 flush volume toilets anymore to meet standards. You can't get a 3-gallon toilet anymore, so it really gives the pipe a good wash. So double, triple flush, do what you can, but the snake that we bought at the beginning of the year, I bet you we've used it a dozen times already, and it's $350 a whack at Wyco come to do the same thing, so that thing's already paying for itself. Excuse me. So that's what we're dealing with though, is everything else is, the projects, the roofs are being done. The gutters are being, we're done, yeah, so the Rotunda Gutter, while the guys were up on the Rotunda putting that silicone sealant on the Rotunda, the gutters that weren't in the scope of work, the gutters are very, they're getting spongy. There's plywood and something like Durarock type base to them. From years of water sitting in there, some of them have saturated, been saturated. So there's gonna be some gutter repair on the Rotunda coming down the line, as well as the fascia. The roofing guys had said that the roof was never installed correctly. The seams of the steel were never sealed whenever it was done. So it was just steel to steel. Now, over the years of expansion and contraction, that's where our leaks are coming from. The water's gotten in, and it's just an ongoing thing. The silicone sealant we used was $17,000. It did stop the leaking for now. It did coat the gutters, but it's at this point, it would be 5 times the money to actually replace the roof and gutters, but that is gonna have to take place. It'll be in our 5-year plan to work that in as a kind of a full overhaul of the whole system on top of that Rotunda. So we'll work that into our CIP line as well. But the other roofs are going well. They found 4 bricks missing out of the wall over probation, where we've had a terrible leak for years. 4 bricks were missing and the water was just dumping in there. It pitched that way. So they were able to seal that up. They got the water flowing correctly. Excuse me. And they're just waiting for flashing right now. Picked out some flashing colors, and it'll be dark bronze on this building, a lighter bronze on the sheriff's department. And they start that move tomorrow. They start the sheriff's department out back of the jail. So it's a hard time of year for the roofing guys, but they're getting it done. You guys are real decent to deal with as well, so it helps. They're storing a lot of their silicone sealants and glues and stuff like that. We have a small room at the courthouse, and they have access to it with a key right into it's actually the sprinkler line and the water line sit in there. It's a heated 9x9 room, so we gave them full access to that, so we didn't have another container or something sitting in the parking lot with a generator, an extension cord to it, with a heater. We just let them use that space to keep the materials warm, so they can just keep going on daily. A lot going on, there's always a lot going on in our department. So Kristen, I think, did a great job with decorating. She came in Monday, she was gone a couple days last week for the holiday. And she came in Monday, I said, what do you got going on today? She says, what do you think? Muteness, right? I said, not today, take one more day off, I'm gonna get this place decorated. So she did it. She did a great job, I think. Last year we spent some money and updated some of the decorations, and it definitely shows. So hopefully, especially with the state of emergency and stuff like that, again, it brings a little cheer to everybody's work environment.
I want to know why Warsaw's got the biggest package.
Harry has a bottle of something, so. They're empty, I'm telling you right now. There you are. No, but, so, working with Devin and Pete up the highway on some of those other projects that we had going on, they wrapped that stuff up. They were able to do the work for us for roughly $12,000. I don't know if I touched base on that last month, but it cut the cost of the work in half. They figured it to be, so we only paid for material and some other maybe equipment usage or there were minor things compared to how things were before, which is great. It's the price tag was half. There would have been $11,000 in charges added to that, but there wasn't. So it was really nice to be able to use our parking lot funds on that, and we'll come up with a plan when we meet them both in the spring to come up with a plan to revitalize almost all the parking lots. DSS is in great shape. This one we will definitely need some work, some milling and redirecting for drainage. And then the health department is spidered crack. You know, it's spidered pretty good. So there's just a lot going on.
I know that Devin wants to have a meeting up there. South, Supervisor Discussion, south.
Yep.
Things up there.
Yep. He's got some space things he wants to go over, and just some concerns with his building that he brought to my attention, and then meeting with you guys would be more than helpful before bringing an idea or some plans to the board here. Okay, so that's what we're going to do there.
All right, anything else, Mike? Thanks.
Great, thank you guys.
We'll see you for.
All right, I'd love to use your.
This is like our check, this is a signature. That's why I. And I said,
Cheryl, can we make sure this was in the mailroom for a few days? It's for Becky. I don't know. It quit taking, so it should be fine.
thanks, thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is the traffic safety board appointments. 3-year terms. They're hanging out the gas aisle, our coach, Eagle, vacancy, Gainesville. No.
The ones you posted about, it's online,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't replace it. Mark Anderson is here as well.
Oh, yeah, me.
I do have a good. And Dave confirmed an address for me, so I think we're good.
And James Kemp, Jesse Pauls.
Yep.
And it's gonna be open. It's Bruce Reader, isn't it, correct?
Well, there's a vacant, I showed as a vacancy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I was looking at the board, because most of them, I think, are like, highway superintendents. Why not look for like law enforcement or somebody?
One time, we had a former highway superintendent.
Yeah, but I was thinking, for traffic safety, you're looking at like accident scenes, is the speed appropriate or whatever? You know, I had to get law enforcement, so chiming in.
Okay, so Brian, find somebody. You have to recuse yourself, right?
High paying position, right?
Sorry, they don't
I make sure I was heard.
A lot of money involved.
Yeah.
I need a motion, I guess, to make those appointments. Motion by Supervisor Klein. Further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Anything else, bring to public works today? If not, who's for adjourn?
Yeah, I
Merry Christmas.
Bob Patterson.
Interesting for your daughter.
What comes from it?
Well,
He decided he wanted it. When I brought it up, I said, you.
I didn't.
Because they're saying that he's saying that even though it's 4 times